was now about the 6th hour, and darkness came over the whole land until the 9th hour. For the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." When he had said this, he breathed his last. The centurion, seeing what had happened, praised God and said, "Surely this was a righteous man." When all the people who had gathered to witness this sight saw what took place, they beat their breasts and went away. But all those who knew him, including the women who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance watching these things. In our reflections this week, we've noticed the calm, the other-centered orientation that Jesus embodied, that flowed from the resolution of that crisis moment in the garden where he handed his destiny over to his Father's will. And that resulting inner peace is even evident on the cross, where he turns to others in forgiveness and in love. You know, the cross was associated with shame and failure and the unparalleled dominance of Rome. But Jesus transforms it into a place where we gaze upon the glory of God. One aspect of that glory is seen in the profound trust that Jesus places in the ability of his Father alone to fulfill his promises of deliverance, even as he is swallowed by the grave. Jesus is faithful to the very end, and that is what saves us. Paul, in his letter to the church in Philippi, says, as we know, "I want to become like Jesus in his death." It's a remarkable statement. It, of course, reflects the exaltation of Christ himself, that if we want to follow him, we must deny ourselves and pick up our cross. Yes, Jesus was accomplishing something unique and unrepeatable, but he was also forging a pathway for us to follow, that we might entrust our lives, our purpose, our very selves to God, that we might allow him to direct our paths, even in turbulent and unsettling times. And to know that it is in precisely those times where God is fulfilling his purposes for us. So we pray in those times and every day, help me to be like Jesus. Put to death that part of me that seeks personal preservation and comfort above all things. Release me into the freedom of love and forgiveness. Amidst conflict, may I be one who speaks peace and reconciliation. In pain, may I be a vehicle of healing. To those in despair, may I be alert to bring hope. And may it be more than just poetry in a journal at the end of the day, but concrete and practical and lived out in the reality of everyday experience and my encounters with others. This we pray. This is the heart of our Christian life. You know, some will look upon this call of Christ and see no good. In fact, see only the horror and shame of a slave execution. But in God's economy, the cross is where the seed of glory grows. This is where we find our lost humanity. This is where we recover the very image of God in our lives. This, against all odds, is where we will find life in all its fullness.